Hello. So today we're going to do a quick little classics collection with the caveat that this is my classics that I own that I've read. This is not all the classics that I've read because I was an English major. I've read more than this. And it's also not all the classics that I own because I have a good chunk in the book wall. But it's the ones that I own and have read, and the cat is climbing on the book wall, so she's probably going to jump down the hole pretty soon. So that's wonderful. Anyway. So yeah, they're in reverse alphabetical order because there's one on my shelves and pulled them out. And the first one we're going to talk about is I've got, oh shoot, I missed one. Oh my god. I missed Les Mis. I have this edition of Les Mis. I got it at Walmart when I was in high school. It is got the tiniest text. I read it when I was on vacation. The summer after I graduated from high school. We drove to Maine, and it's, you know, I'm from North Dakota. It's a drive. And I'm pretty sure the only reason I finished this in less than a month is because it was like hours and hours in the car every day, and all I did was read Les Mis. So I've got this one. That was the one I missed. Now, the other French classics that I was going to talk about, I've got some Zola. I have Germinal, and I have Tristes Requins. I like Germinal more. I've read Germinal in both French and English. I read it in French in college, and then recently, like within the last year or so, I decided I wanted to reread it, but this time in English, so I got myself a copy. It's such a good book. And Tristes Requins too, I really enjoyed. It's a fun one. I think Germinal is better though. Basically, I guess I don't have that many French classics in here. I've got a couple more, and the other two that I have in here, I'm like, do I count them as classics? Because they're from the 1700s, but you'll see. So I've got these. These are both in Penguin Classics editions, but this one's really old. And this one is the newer one. I got this from Barnes & Noble, and I got this one secondhand, I think off of like Amazon. But yeah, this one is that beautiful, old, very floppy Penguin Classic. That I've got I've got a couple books in here that I did have to get for college and that I kept afterwards. I only kept a couple, and one of them was one that I read for British novel, and I really enjoyed. I enjoyed one of the other books that I read for the class, and I do have a copy of that one here too. But this is the one that I think I like the most, and that's Vanity Fair by William Makepeace Thackeray. This is another Penguin classic. This is what she looks like. This is a big old book about a bunch of terrible little people. I don't know why I liked it so much. I remember I worked in the business office at the time. It was one of my work study positions. And sometimes I had lots of filing and stuff to do. Sometimes I had computer work to do. But a lot of the time what that meant was me sitting and waiting for the phone to ring. And then like transferring calls. And so that is why I was one of the 2 people in my British novel class to finish Vanity Fair, because I was sitting there, because he, you know, assigned about 100 pages a day. It was every other day, I guess, because it was every other day class, but it was still, you know, 100, 200 pages a time, which is a lot, but yeah, I enjoyed it, and I kept it. Another book that I really enjoyed from that class, this is not the edition I had for that class, this is an edition I found at an old library book sale, so this is what it looks like, and it is Frankenstein. You can't really see from there. Let's show you the inside. Does it? There it is. So this was from an old library book sale. I think it was like about 10 cents. That's how the book sale there worked. Like every book was like 10 cents. And that is why, one of the reasons why the book wall grew so much when I was in college is because they had a book sale every year and every book was 10 cents. But this is an ancient little copy of Frankenstein, which is a very fun book, and it is my copy of Frankenstein. This is the one that I keep on my shelves. Yeah, I've got this one, and I've got another one that I had for college. This one is one, I don't know, part of me is like, you should put this back on the book wall because you know you didn't read the entire thing, because it's a collection, and it is a collection that I had to get for my Shakespeare class. It's the complete works of Shakespeare, the complete Pelican Shakespeare, because I was an English major, so I had to take a class all but Shakespeare, and so we were told to buy this. We did not read every single play, and here, look how beautiful that is. What did we read? Let me see if I can remember. Let's look. We read Much Ado About Nothing. We read Measure for Measure, I know because I loved it. Uh-huh. We read the Richard III. We read Titus Andronicus and Hamlet, and I feel like we read Macbeth too. Yeah. My favorites are Titus Andronicus, and also Measure for Measure was super fun. Yeah, I've got this. Still kept it around. And these next were the ones I was like, these are my French ones where I'm like, do I count these as classics? Because they're from the 1700s. One of them is unfinished, and it's not very good because it's unfinished. The other one I really enjoyed reading. And these are classics in the sense that they're classics of the extreme horror genre, I would say. I would say they're extreme horror. I think they're grosser than a lot of stuff I've read from extreme horror. And that's our Mr. Marquis de Sade. I have Justine, which I loved. I thought Justine was really, really good. It's really interesting. The ending is semi-hilarious. I thought there was some interesting like French philosophy in here between like the extended torture sequences and the 120 Days of Sodom, which is clearly unfinished and is so boring because of it. It's just repetitive and stupid and gross, and I can handle gross, but not when it's as repetitive as this one is. But this book, that's unfair to Mr. de Sade because it's unfinished. Like it's not a complete work like Justine is. But I do have these. I got both of these. Neither of these I had to read for school, thank God. This is the Oxford World's Classic for Justine. So that's what she looks like. And then this is like an Amazon. Somebody slapped the text in, and like is getting random money off of this on Amazon. That's what this is. This is like one of those. Then I've got another one I had to read for school. This one I read for World Lit Part 2, and that is Lolita by Vladimir Nabokov. Lolita is a very well written book. It's a very beautifully written book. It's incredibly gross, but it's very beautiful written. It's a good book, and I think that people who discount it just because of the subject matter probably aren't mature enough to read it. I don't know. And obviously you can read whatever you want, and that includes not reading whatever you don't want to read, but I don't know, it's a good book. And that's this is the Vintage Classics edition. Is that what this is? Vintage? Yeah. Here's the side, Mr. Nabokov on the back. And then I've got 5 copies of Lord of the Flies. Lord of the Flies is my favorite classic and my favorite book. I don't know, it's been a while since I've read it, but Lord of the Flies is also the only book that I will keep multiple copies of. And whenever I see another edition that I don't have, I tend to kind of go. But the first one I have here is this Penguin Classics Deluxe Edition, which looks like this. We've got a flap on the inside, the side, the back. It's right here. I think I got this online, I want to say. I don't know, but it's beautiful. It's got deckled edges. Gorgeous. Then I've got the Penguin Drop Cap edition, which is where they had one for each letter. I only have the one for Lord of the Flies. I know I got this online because I saw that Lord of the Flies was for G for Golding. So we got piggy specks on the front. That's the side. That's the back. And we got sprayed edges. Beautiful. Love Lord of the Flies. Then I've got 2 editions that are like very commonly. These are the 2 editions that the school that I went to and then also worked at had for when we were in 9th grade and reading it. There is this, I believe it's also a Penguin one. No, it's Peregrine. It's from Peregrine. So we got the front there, we got Piggy, we got a fly, we got a specs, got the side, we've got the back. And then we've got another Peregrine edition, a little bit of an older one that has Ralph on the front there. And these 2 are ones that I think are very commonly used in the high school English classrooms when 9th graders are reading Lord of the Flies. And then I've got one that I actually stole. So here's the thing. I had a different edition that looked like this. And I was looking around, I was in high school, and I was looking around in the library, and I saw that they had this incredibly old Lord of the Flies. And so I was like, well, what if I came in and I brought my new edition and just replaced it? And that's what I did. And I took this away, and it was mine. It's falling apart, but it's old, and I wanted it. When's the last time this was checked out? This was checked out in, I cannot tell. Oh, they didn't have the year. The last year on here is 1981. This is a really old one. This is the, I have this one. I don't know what you want to call it. This is the Casebook edition. No, it's not. It's Putnam's. It's from Putnam's. I don't know, but I have this one. Then I have a couple more that are like, he was a beat. I'm counting this as classics. Actually, the next three are kind of ones where like I'm counting them as classics. I don't know if everybody would. I've got some William Burroughs. I have this Penguin edition of Queer. This looks like this. And I've got this edition. I think it's Grove Press of Naked Lunch. Which I really enjoyed both these books. Naked Lunch, actually, if you can see, I've got a bunch of pages tabbed up because I think sometimes the way that Burroughs, the way that he put things, just his syntax, his diction is amazing. Like, I just love it sometimes, and I marked up some pages. This next one is one I love. I've read it a bunch of times, and every time you read this one, it's like it gets better, and I have more understanding of it. And that's A Clockwork Orange by Anthony Burgess. I got to read more by this man, because I know this is not the only book he's written. It's his most popular one for sure, but it's not the only one. This is a Ballantine Books edition. It's orange, bright orange, all the way around, straight up orange. I love this book. And then the last one I have is Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury. And I've had this copy of this book since high school. I read it for high school, and then I bought my own copy. This is the 60th anniversary edition from Simon & Schuster. It's very pretty. I love it. I love Fahrenheit 451. I think it's a very beautifully written book. And I think it has a lot to say. And honestly, when it comes to the classic three great dystopian novels, I read this one more than Brave New World, so I've got to say, I think I like it more than Brave New World, but I think if I read Brave New World a couple more times, that might change. 100% it's better than 1984. 100%. So yeah, those are my classics that I own, that I've read. Like I said, I've got more in the book wall that I either, like, some of them I've read before, but then I got rid of them, and then I got another copy some way, somehow. Some of them I've never read before, I just have in the book wall. Some of them I've read most of, and then they're in the book wall, and then I got another copy of them, and that's now also in the book wall. Hello, Notre Dame de Paris. But yeah, that's where we're at right now with my classics. Yeah, that's everything. I'll talk to you later, and bye.